Hi all, this is Brianna Davis with International Student. You can find us at internationalstudent.com. And today we're here to talk about the dirt on picking your major. So what do you need to consider whenever you are trying to choose your major? It's kind of a big question that every single individual who is trying to get a degree must face at some point in time. More than likely you have the nagging question in the back of your mind. You might have your advisor on your back as well, trying to get you to make a decision. And it's a big question for good reason. It holds a lot of weight. It's ultimately going to be what determines your career path throughout your life. So you need to really take time to evaluate how you can choose your major in the best way possible. Before we do that, like always, please feel free to send in any questions you have through the chat feature. We'll go ahead and address those in the end. And also, if you'd like any further information from us on schools or on, if you'd like our newsletter, just feel free to send in your email address to that chat feature as well. Now, if you don't want everyone else in the Hangout to see your email address, then please don't do that, because keep in mind they'll be able to see it. But if you're okay with that, then go ahead and send it on in and we'll get you signed up for that. So let's go ahead and get started on what you need to consider whenever you're trying to choose the major that's best for you. Now, first and foremost, job possibilities. Of course, we all go to get our education. That way we can get a job once we graduate and have a steady source of income, hopefully for as long as we need. So you need to make sure that whatever career path you are trying to pick, you're going to actually have a job that will correlate with that industry. So while perhaps you're studying psychology, while it sounds great and interesting and you enjoy your classes, what are the actual jobs you're able to have once you graduate with a degree in psychology? Do you know? If you don't, you're going to have to do some research on what the actual jobs are going to be and if you're okay with those jobs. So you need to think beyond just 4 years of what you want to study and actually what jobs you will have. All right, second on the list, we have salary. So you need to look overall, of course, at what you'll be making, but you also need to take a look at the cost of what you're going to be paying for your degree, as well as what you'll be making once you finally graduate. So, although schools have a baseline price, not every major will actually be paying the same. You need to think about the little extras, for example, aviation. If you choose to study aviation to be a pilot, you're going to be paying a lot more than, say, someone who in education. This is because you have to buy flight time. You're going to have to log all those hours, which means you have to rent the plane, you have to pay for the gas whenever you do that. It can add up quite quickly. So make sure that you consider all of those factors. And then also the cost of your education, is it going to be okay with what you're actually going to be getting paid once you finally graduate? Now, if you have no idea where to even start whenever it comes to what you're going to be getting paid, we're going to show you a few stats here from NACE, the National Association of Colleges and Employers. And here we have, from their recent study, we have the top 7 salaries that individuals, recent graduates, made. We have at number 1, engineering. We can see it's almost $63,000 that they made whenever they first entered into the job market. Second, we have computer science. We have just over $62,000. Business is in third at just over $57,000. Next, we have communications, just over $48,000, and then math and science at $44,000, education at $40,000, and then humanities at $38,000. Now, keep in mind these are just the averages for the starting salaries, and this is only in the U.S. So if you plan to graduate in your home country or anywhere else in the world, these prices, these salaries are not going to apply to you. This is only in the US, and it's only an average. So depending on where you are in the US, it's going to vary significantly. But this is a good place to start. It's kind of a good starting point to wrap your head around what you can expect to make in that industry that you're going to pursue. And if you have no idea what industry to pursue, but you want a top paying industry, then you might want to look at those. So that's a very great, that's a good place to start. All right, so next we have hiring. So of course you can look at what jobs you can have, and you can look at how much you'll be making, but if you don't go towards an industry that's actually hiring, you're not even going to have a job to start with. So you want to make sure that you do a little bit of research as to what industry is hiring. That way you can be prepared and you'll be able to have a job once you finally do put in all the time and money with your degree. So first, you're going to want to ask yourself, what industries are hiring and what type of degree do I need in order to get a job within that industry? Now, we have a few other stats. These are the top hiring industries in 2014. So for graduates, these were areas that they were able to find jobs more than any other graduates. And that's, first of all, we have education services. So we had a lot of graduates who were able to find jobs within the educational services. Second, we have professional, scientific, and tech. Third, we have healthcare and social assistance. Fourth, we have government. And then fifth, we have finance and insurance. So we had a lot of graduates in the US who were able to find jobs that were hiring in those industries. Now keep in mind, these can change, and you don't want to base your entire major decision around who's hiring, but it's really something that you should consider, and this is once again a great place to start. You'll want to do research into this. And then another question that you'll want to consider whenever it comes to hiring, who's hiring, is would I need to move somewhere in a job in this industry, and am I okay with that? So sure, you might be able to look at this list and say, okay, educational services is hiring, but where are they hiring and where do you want to be? So perhaps the industry that you're pursuing is only hiring in California and you want to return to Sweden whenever you graduate. You're going to have to ask yourself, am I okay with actually going to California and staying there? If not, then you'll reevaluate your major. All right, next, keep change in mind. So most jobs are ever changing, and you need to research and see what kind of changes are expected in the industry that you're considering. Take journalism, for example. If you were to graduate, say, 20 years ago with a degree in journalism, more than likely you would go to a newspaper or a magazine and it'd be print. So now you take a look, you might graduate with a degree in journalism and still go to a newspaper, magazine, but more than likely it's going to be online. So take a look at what kind of changes are happening within the industry that you're interested in and make sure that you're okay with those. Next, enjoyment. I know that it's last on the list, but it's definitely not least. Sometimes we try to be too practical and push this to the side, but it's also going to help determine your success. If you really enjoy what you're doing, more than likely it's going to come natural to you and you're going to be great at it. So you need to take enjoyment in mind. Keep that first and foremost whenever you're making your decision. If you try to tell yourself, well, I'm only studying for 4 or 5 years, after that it'll be done, over with, keep in mind this is your degree. It's going to determine your career for the rest of your life. So you need to make a life decision whenever you choose your major. So keep in mind it's going to be a more long-term decision than just for your college career. All right, once again, it's a huge decision to choose your major. You need to take time to really consider all of the factors that might go into it. And hopefully these 5 items are going to help you. They're ones that you should consider. We're going to just take a few moments to answer questions. We don't have any that have come in yet. We do have a slight delay though with the presentation, so we'll just hang on for a few more minutes here. If you do have any questions, please send those in. We'll get those answered for you. Now keep in mind, if you would like more information on different degree areas, perhaps fine arts or nursing or public administration, on internationalstudent.com, we have a section that has all the study sections. So all of those different areas, it's going to have more information on those for you. So you can go in there and you can see what type of jobs might be possible. You can see what pursuing that type of major might encompass. You can get all kinds of information on different areas. So you might want to go to internationalstudent.com and check out that study section. That way you can find out more on that degree area that you'd like to pursue. And once you finally do choose a degree, if you're able to finally declare your major, we have a whole list of schools throughout the US as well. And then it'll also tell you if those schools have that degree program for you to pursue. So you can find your degree on there. You can also find a school that has that degree program. So you might want to go check that out if you have not yet already. All right, so we don't have any questions. I apologize if we didn't quite wait long enough and we have a few questions that pop up after we end this. But we'll go ahead and we'll answer those afterwards, so don't worry. If it goes unanswered right now in this Hangout, we'll get you the answers you need. And hopefully this has provided you with a bit more information that can benefit you whenever you try to choose your major. Good luck. Happy studies.